commemorate the summit, we were going to commemorate the summit during the NBA All-Star game that was hosted in February. However, due to COVID, as well as weather conditions, we decided to move the commemoration to today, as the NBA has partnered with the Cavs to bring back 9 community events that were scheduled for February. And I want to thank the NBA for staying true to your commitment to support the city of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. Lastly, one last comment about why today is important. Today is the beginning of the Juneteenth weekend celebrations. When I think about the importance of Juneteenth, the official day in our country where all Black Americans were recognized as free men and women, it is only fitting that we celebrate the 12 men that sacrificed their professional careers as athletes or for athletes of all walks of life to leverage their celebrity and social platforms to give voice beyond what they do on the field and on the court, or in Muhammad Ali's case, what he did in the ring. So again, thank all of you for being here this morning, and let's get the program started. I'd first like to introduce Sarah Wells and thank the American Cancer Society for their partnership in honoring this landmark location. This site, where you are right now, is where these 12 gentlemen met to have this historic conversation. Please join me in welcoming Vice President of Development, Sarah Wells.
Good morning and welcome. On behalf of the American Cancer Society, we are thrilled to host all of you this morning as we prepare to celebrate Juneteenth and recognize this incredible moment in history, the Cleveland Summit. Cancer is a disease that affects everyone, but doesn't affect everyone equally. The American Cancer Society believes that everyone deserves a fair and just opportunity to benefit from the progress made in the fight against cancer. So as we continue to battle the injustices of healthcare, we're thrilled to be a part of such a special event. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. I believe that pictures speak 1,000 words. Let's take a moment to look at a video to commemorate today.
In Cleveland, in 1967, at the height of the civil rights movement of the 20th century, we witnessed the power of athletes standing for civil rights and racial justice.
When we had the summit in Cleveland in my office to see how Muhammad felt about going into the Army, Bill was right there, and with no fear.
Came out of friendship to Muhammad Ali. I know that we wanted to find out from him what is going on.
I admired Muhammad Ali so much. He made me proud to be a Black American, and I wanted to help him.
Those Black athletes, stars of the day from across sports, came together to show solidarity with Muhammad Ali and his stance against the Vietnam War. 55 years later, their legacy of courage lives on in the generations of athletes that followed.
We have a moment in time. Our kids are going to look back at this and say, you were a part of that.
I'm just thrilled that so many of the younger players are taking up the cause and the issue.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and countless others. They set a model for what athletes should stand for. So we choose to follow in their footsteps.
In 2022, the National Basketball Social Justice Coalition and the Cleveland Cavaliers are honored to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the Cleveland Summit, commissioning a new historical marker in downtown Cleveland, a site of public reflection, reminding us how athletes have used their voices to help move us forward toward justice.
I'm hoping that it will continue to inspire the guys in the NBA to see what they can do to change things for the better. We can move forward based on freedom, justice, and equality for all Americans. That's a concept that'll work.
That's pretty nice. The next speaker, and and there are a number of guests in the room, so instead of acknowledging everybody, a lot of them are on the agenda in which we'll cover. But the next speaker actually was at the summit. And it's been my honor to get to know Mr. Beach and have an opportunity to really hear his story. And for those of you who are wondering who he is, this gentleman right here, is that right, Mr. Beach? Okay. All right. So if you would, please welcome, and can we stand for Walter Beach?
Well, I want to thank everyone, especially Kevin, for the opportunity. But there's a few things I'm going to say, and I hope the message and the energy is positive. January 31st next year, I'll be 90 years old. And it's been a lovely journey. And a friend of mine who's 92, she said this: if you're lucky, it'll happen to you. So I want to appreciate the mayor and everyone for the opportunity. I had a lot of good opportunities in Cleveland. And I know y'all want to deal with this. The reason that I didn't have on a suit and tie is that at that particular time, I was the youth coordinator under Carl Stokes. And Carl had sent me to the West Side. Y'all know what the West Side is, don't you? I don't know if it's still the West Side, you know. But it was the West Side when I was in Cleveland. So to give you a little history, Jim was the energy behind bringing Muhammad and bringing everybody together. And I want to say something particularly what I consider to be special about Jim. And if you understand the hierarchy in a society, that's how the society moves. So everybody in the society is not important. So everybody on the Browns wasn't important, but Jim was. And Jim and I was on this one occasion, I said, and they said, I want to introduce Walter Beach, who was on the football team with Jim Brown. And then when I got up, I said, I want to clarify that Jim Brown was on the football team with Walter Beach. And it sounded like it was kind of funny, but then when Jim got up, Jim said, but do y'all understand what he's saying? And he said, I want to further clarify it. Jim said, I never tackled nobody. No, my man knows about that. On a team, it's everybody. On a team, it's everybody. Y'all might think that Curry is the best, you know, he can't do nothing if somebody don't get him the ball. So it's a team. And that's the idea of the concept. And it's a country. That's the idea of the concept. It's a community. That's the idea of the concept. It's a race. It's a group. So Ali had a little, who you may not understand, had the best poem, the shortest poem in history. And they asked Ali to quote a poem. Do anyone know what that poem was? This was Ali's poem. And it's considered one of the shortest poems in history. The poem is Me and We. Me and we. Ain't no me without we. Ain't no we without me. So what the summit was about, and I'm gonna break this brief, is that football is what I did, but that wasn't who I was. Football was what Jim did, but that wasn't who he was. Boxing was what Ali did, but that wasn't who he was. Kareem and Bill, basketball is what they did, but that wasn't who they were. And that's the real message, and that's the real meaning of the summit. And coming in here, my son and I was talking, and we were talking about things that we've experienced. And I said, one of the things that's so interesting, and he shared something with me about, what did you say, man? About embellishing. If you embellish, yeah, that's it, yeah. He said, the more you polish your image, the more you tarnish your character. The more you polish your image. And my father always used to say to me, show me your face. That was my father's message to me. Every day I got up, he said, show me your face. I want to know who you are. And that's what's important. We have the opportunity to show people who we are. I'm going to give you this last message. I played at Central Michigan University. I was the only black person on that team that played football. And we played in Illinois, Wisconsin. We played all over the country. And I used to get called nigger so much I thought that was my name. I thought that was my name. But I was on a football team. And I just shared with you, I was the only black player on the team. We go to hotel, we'd get off the bus, go into the hotel, and Coach Kelly would come back and say, we got to get back on the bus. That's my phone. My son said he's going to turn it off. Yeah, John Coltrane. Yeah, it's John Coltrane, yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, well, I won't share that. I spoke to Wooten, who just had hip surgery, and I spoke to Jim, who had some health challenges, and Bobby, of course, Carl, Willie, short man, some of them has left us. But I wanted to share that story. So Coach Kelly, by the way, Coach Kelly was a white man. And I'm putting emphasis on man. Not the complexion, but man. So we go to a restaurant. When I walked in, they said, we don't serve Negroes here. So Kelly would get the rest of the football team, so if he can't eat here, nobody can eat here. We go to the hotel. Beach can't come into the hotel because Negroes can't come into this hotel. Coach Kelly say, if he can't come in the hotel, we sleep on the bus. I want y'all to understand what's going on. He said, we sleep on the bus. This was a man. I wanted to make that clear. This was a man. Not a white man, a man. And that's why I focus on that. Because if you don't have any integrity and you don't have any belief about who you are, Coach Kelly showed me his face. He showed me his face. Kanicki, I can name all the guys on my football team in Central Michigan. I'm still friends with them today because they showed me their face. You can't call Beach no nigger without Jim Kanicki fighting. Because Jim Kanicki was going to be there. No, that ain't who he is. So those are the messages that I wanted to share briefly about what this is about. This is about human dignity. That's what the challenge is. The challenge is, can you be human? Can you be a human being and respect other human beings? And not only respect them, give them the right to be the human beings that they are. My wife just called me from New York. She was at Gracie Mansion with on home with some other things she's doing with the mayor. And she said, well, you couldn't, she said, you couldn't have been here with us today to see the mayor. Now, I know Eric very well. So I know Eric. And if you ever see Eric, you ask Eric about me. So I know Eric. Yeah, so I know Eric. I said, but Eric's a vegan. So Gail said, you couldn't come. I said, why? She said, because they only had food for vegans. I said, well, that's that crazy stuff again. I want some meat. I want some pork chops. And some, I don't want to be up there and then can't get no pork chops and no chitlins. That's what I eat. So we don't want to take a position where what we do, we want everybody else to do it, and we don't respect their human dignity. That's all I'd like to say. And thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Walter. Show them your face, human dignity. So what you don't know about Walter is that he's already displayed a high level of that courage before he even spoke today. So I got a call yesterday morning at 5:30 a.m. from Walter's wife. Walter was he was being taken by car from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Newark to catch his flight. That's a 2-hour drive. This is 5:30 in the morning, and his wife says, Kevin, they canceled the flight. We've checked every airlines. Walter can't get here. So what do? We're like, okay, we'll figure it out. Love to have had you, Walter. If you can't get here, you can't get here. I get a call 15 minutes later. We canceled everything at that point, like hotel, transportation. I get a call 15 minutes later from his wife, Gail, saying, nah, Walter wants to be there. Our motto for our family of companies is yes before no. So we had to figure out yes before no. Walter flew into Detroit, met his son, Darren. We sent a car to pick him up out of Detroit, which is another 2.5 hour drive. And you got in, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock last night to be here this morning. That was the courage and determination. So Walter, thank you. Thank you. So there's another gentleman's picture, and you heard Walter talk about Carl B. Stokes. So we have Alex Stokes, who is the great niece of Carl Stokes and the granddaughter of Louis Stokes. Alex, if you could join us, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I want to thank the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kevin, the American Cancer Society for inviting me here today on behalf of the Stokes family. We are so encouraged by moments like these when organizations with such a large presence in the city and the nation put social justice front and center, honoring the men at the 1967 Cleveland Summit, including my great-uncle, Carl Stokes, who would soon become the first black mayor of a major American city. Mr. Beach, it is an honor to follow you at the podium and to have you here today reminding us of the courage and conviction it takes to move the needle of justice forward. Thank you. I also want to thank the designers with the Marcus Graham Project who so powerfully captured that iconic photo and moment in time while simultaneously inspiring us all to take a seat at the table and speak up. Today we stand in this mighty city at the epicenter of a movement of Black political and social power. Our world was changing with civil rights at the forefront against the backdrop of racial turmoil and a highly controversial war in Vietnam. Muhammad Ali's conscientious objector stance on the draft based on his religions to serve in the war, and the major athletes that decided to stand by him. Let's not forget, Carl was a middleweight collegiate boxer, so give him his props there. But what those men found that day was a common need to defend Ali's faith, to stand up to a government that singled him out because he was black and outspoken, even at the potential cost of their own popularity. This summit was a civil rights milestone that confronted politics, race, and religion in a city pushing the country forward. And as Carl said in his autobiography, Cleveland was where the action was, at the focus of the eyes of the black world. And so it is again. Today we celebrate the conviction of those men and also the courage of the athletes of this generation that hold on to their platform despite the risks to speak against injustice and for our collective humanity. I hope this marker is a reminder to all who walk by it that we do not have to stay silent, and we all have a platform to do what is right. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Alex. So from one courageous mayor to another, I'd like to welcome our Honorable Mayor, Justin Bibb.
Thank you so much. Mr. Beach, I'll let you know, unlike my brother mayor in New York, I like meat. So next time you're in Cleveland, Mount Pleasant barbecue is on me. We can have it at City Hall. And it's an honor to follow Alex Stokes. I want to just say this is the second event we've had together this week. And I'm just so proud to walk in the footsteps of your family and your legacy, because without their service, without their impact, I would not be mayor of Cleveland. Thank you so much for your courage. You know, I've been thinking a lot about this concept of freedom as we celebrate Juneteenth. And freedom is not a binary thing. It's not something you turn on or turn off. It's a process. It's a process you have to engage in, a process you have to fight for, and a process you have to live and embody every single day. And that's what we're commemorating here this morning, this process of freedom for Black Americans that the men fought for in this picture. And as you know right now, we are in what I'm calling the third American Revolution in this country. You're seeing so much frustration and anger in D.C., so much sadness in our communities from issues like gun violence, poverty, and violent crime. But all of us, as Mr. Beach said, all of us have a role to play in this movement for freedom. And we all must play a role to fight for freedom every single day. So on behalf of the city of Cleveland, I want to thank you for having me here today. Thank the Cleveland Cavaliers and the NBA for their commitment and investment in Cleveland. And I look forward to working with you all to make sure that the promise of freedom can be realized right here in Cleveland, not just for tomorrow, but for the next generation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd now like to introduce the President of Basketball Operations, Mr. Koby Altman.
Thank you, Kevin. Really excited to be here representing the Cleveland Cavaliers and the NBA. I wanted to thank the city of Cleveland, everyone for coming out to Cleveland, Mayor Bibb, and everybody that's here. Just trying to put into words the magnitude of that iconic image, and just to take a step back, because we ask our athletes to do this a lot, is speak on behalf of social justice and put themselves out there. At that moment in time, and I asked Mr. Beach about this, I said, was that risky? Did you feel nervous? And he said, no, this was my civic duty. But do you understand that those athletes were in the primes of their careers, right? These are iconic athletes for not just the country, but the world. And they put themselves out there to speak for social injustice and stand and have a voice, okay? And a voice that we ask our athletes to use all the time. And so we're honored to be able to commemorate this special, we're on hollow ground right now. and unbelievable to have Mr. Beach back here as well to represent such an iconic photo, an image, and for it to happen right here on these grounds is, I think, really, really special. I also think, Kevin, we can start to have more traditions around this site, right? Now that we've commemorated it, the Cleveland Summit, we can do way more things now with the help of the American Cancer Society and this wonderful site. So again, just wanted to thank you. I think from the Cavaliers standpoint, we want to keep affecting positive change within the community, and this is a big step forward for that. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a couple more voices to hear from. One of my friends recently, and also kind of partners in the movement, if you will, is James Cadogan, who is executive director of the NBA Social Justice Coalition. James, if you can come up, share a few words with us.
Morning, everybody. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the National Basketball Social Justice Coalition to commemorate this 55th anniversary of the 1967 Cleveland Summit. It is our honor to be here in partnership with the Cleveland Cavaliers and with the American Cancer Society to dedicate a marker to the legacy of the men in this photo. To tell you a little bit about our coalition, it really starts with what Mr. Beach just said. Me and then we. We are a coalition of athletes, of team ownership groups, of executives at the NBA League Office, the Players Association, the NBA's union, and the Coaches Association, which means that for the first time, we have a collective across the NBA community that is dedicated to the work of social justice. Me before we. Our job today is to try to live up to the legacy of the 12 men in this photograph. To be able to say in 2022 that we still have work to do, and that they set the mold for what is possible. We are very proud to be able to join with ACS and the Cavs to dedicate the marker, and in that spirit, we have a statement which I will read celebrating the occasion. On behalf of the NBA community, the National Basketball Social Justice Coalition is pleased to stand alongside the Cleveland Cavaliers and the American Cancer Society to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the Cleveland Summit of 1967. We pay tribute to the black athletes, activists, and public servants present in 1967 by dedicating a historical marker at the original site of the summit. The marker, designed by the Marcus Graham Project, will remind us all of the power of sports as a vehicle for social justice and the power of athletes as community change agents. We honor the architects of the summit whose resolve and commitment to the public good set the standard for future generations of athletes. And we commend the Cleveland Cavaliers for continuing to embody the spirit of the summit through their leadership and dedication to the work of achieving a just society. For us, this is the work that we do every day at the Coalition on behalf of the NBA community. We don't do anything else. Our job is to help everybody across the community think about how we bring our voices and our power to the places and spaces where we can impact people's lives. That's it. And it's because of the 1967 Cleveland Summit and the chain of events that these 12 men set into motion that we are now able to do this work full-time on behalf of the National Basketball Association, the National Basketball Players Association, and the National Basketball Coaches Association. And so as we reflect on their legacy and those legends in that photo, I'm very pleased to also be able to introduce a living legend in his time, Mr. Dikembe Mutombo.
morning. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today. First, I want to thank the city of Cleveland, the Cleveland Cavaliers, also all of you guys who got a chance to come here to celebrate this special moment with us. As you know, it's been almost 55 years since a group of these beautiful young men and this beautiful photo you see there came together to fight for social justice. We as a players, because I see myself today, I'm still like as a player, because I played the game for more than 18 years. I still represent mostly the voices of our players, even though I continue to travel on behalf of the NBA as a global ambassador, but I still represent what I stand for as an athlete. We have done so well in the basketball court, and they have taken a step to go outside, to go and fight for social justice for his people everywhere around the world. It can be here in America, in Africa, in South America, or in Asia. We as a players, as Nelson Mandela said, we have the power to change the world. We have the power to change our community, and we have the power to change where we live in. Those guys who came before us, they are just a small example which we as a player represent. They fought for social justice. They fought for equality, and they wanted freedom and access to everything. And they did represent us very well. The NBA family continue to do the same. The players continue to do the same. Our coaches continue to fight the same social justice. And we will continue to do that until everyone in this world that we are living in, you have access and equality of everywhere they can go, freedom to travel, also you have access to healthcare. And we have a voice to speak for them. Especially me, with my deep voice, I will continue to speak for them. Mr. Walter, we thank you for your presence. Without you guys being there, we don't know we, the players who came 55 years later, what we will be. Your example set the tone for the legacy that we keep following. Thank you so much. Thank you, the city of Cleveland.
All right, so we have one last voice to hear from. This hallowed ground sits in Ward 9 of Cleveland, and we have City Councilman Kevin Conwell. Please join us.
I'm looking at the poster here. I see manhood and fatherhood. To all the fathers, to all the fathers, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. And remember this, the best thing that a father can do for his children is to respect his children's mother. That's the best thing that a dad can do. And the children, they love that. I remember this in 67 in this neighborhood here. I grew up in this area, in the Glenville community. And we would hear about, as a matter of fact, we heard about this going on in the Glenville community, and the people were so happy. And you would walk into the barbershops. I was 7 years old. I don't mind dating myself because I am a survivor. I'm going to thank you guys. I'm a cancer survivor, so I don't mind dating myself. But the people were so happy in the Glenville community. They say, Muhammad Ali's up the street up there. They mentioned you also, Walter. My dad mentioned you, and he told me to tell you hello also. And he talked about your great football career, the whole 9 yards. And they talked about Lou Alcindor at the time, and Carl Stokes, and people were so happy. Well, you weren't born yet, but they were so happy in the neighborhood. They were so happy, and there was a lot of energy that was flowing through the community about manhood. And the men were there fighting, and they understood, and they were so happy that people were around fighting for Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali said, they were going around repeating what he said. No Vietnamese called me no nigger. No Vietnamese denied me anything in the community. It made people feel proud to fight against that in the neighborhood. So I'm giving you the energy that we were putting out in the community when Muhammad Ali and the group and your dad was up here. So it was a lot of pride in the community. I'm going to help with this plaque to move it forward. And also, let me put this aside. I want to say thank you to the Cavaliers. I can say some things that you guys can't say. The work that you've done in the city of Cleveland and for the city of Cleveland, I've been around for almost 25 years. It's great. And all of our rec centers, Mr. Mayor, it was the Cavaliers that gave us new floors so the children could play basketball in the community. It was you guys. So I really appreciate that. And basketball builds more than just playing basketball. It builds character, self-discipline, organizational skills, teamwork, as you mentioned earlier, that transfer over to being a good worker or a businessman or a good employee for the city of Cleveland, because it's that character that you guys build. You also, I want to thank the Cavaliers, the reading that you're doing in the community, that you're building reading centers at Martin E. Poor's Family Center, and now children are reading and they're going to college, the great outcome measures. So I want to thank you for the reading piece also. And it's something that's personal to my heart. I would call Lenny all the time. And you guys gave over 30 basketball games to children from the Glenville community. And I would take them to every single basketball game, and you guys would come down to talk with the children. And I remember what this one girl said to me. She was so happy. She said, Mr. Conwell, I always wanted to go to an NBA game, and I thought that I would never be able to go to this NBA game. She was so happy. I get a chance to see her smile in her eyes. And she said this to me also. She said, I want to go to a Pride game as well, Mr. Conwell. And I reached out to Lenny, and I reached out to the Cavaliers, and you guys made sure that I had at least 16 tickets to take children to the Pride game and there. And she was so happy, and the other ones were happy also, that you thought about the people. Now that is social justice right there. You got to walk it like you talk it, or you lose that beat. And that's the thing with Coltrane that I heard the 3/4 time. That's 13 progressions in there. That's Coltrane is cool, man. So that's really, really good. So you guys did a great thing, and I want to thank you on behalf of the city of Cleveland, the 374,000 residents in the city of Cleveland. Also, we would love to invite you down. I told some of the African-American council members, they said, kid, why I get a chance to be in your ward? Having to come down to city council also to talk with us. And they want to see this as well. They're like, Kevin, it's not a ward thing. It's a citywide piece. So Kev, I'll reach out to you. We'll come down. And I know the mayor, he's a really, really cool guy. We'll introduce you to the other council members in the city of Cleveland. And then we'll do it up real, real big, because you have done it real, real big for the residents and our residents, our bosses in the city of Cleveland. We'll do that as well. So I want to read this resolution. I'm not going to go all the way through. The members of Cleveland City Council are sincerely pleased to recognize the NBA Social Justice Coalition, that's you guys, as they dedicate the historical marker at the original site of the 1967 Cleveland Summit in honor of the 55th anniversary on Friday, June 17th, 2022 at 10501 Euclid Avenue. Whereas in recognition of the 55th anniversary of the 1967 Cleveland Summit and its lasting imprint on the history of athletic activism and the NBA, and you guys did a great, well, Walter, you did a great job, because after you came Kurt Flood, you know who that was, Walter Payton, and the great LeBron James are giving back to the community, and it spreaded those seeds. You dropped seeds. And we'll dedicate a new marker at the site of the historical summit. The marker was created by designers from the Marcus Graham Project, a Cavalier community partner in the NBA Foundation. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'm going to put this in my newsletter also, and I want to give this to you, Walter. You come up here, we give this to you. And we'll put it in a newsletter, and that's why I want you to come down of my so my residents will be able to see this. You guys made us so proud. And matter of fact, this picture is in every barbershop and beauty shop in the Glenville community. So I actually get a chance to meet you. Anyone take a picture? Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor? We're so happy about it. Thank you very much. And God bless, God bless, God bless, and thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'll go back in the neighborhood walking, and I'll tell everybody that I met you. Thank you very much.
All right, so as we wind down, I'd like to connect some dots because you've heard bits and pieces of different things. And first of all, we would not do these 12 men justice if we just commemorated today. So it is our intent on behalf of the Cavaliers as well as the NBA to host an annual summit to have conversations about social justice as we move forward. So Koby, to your point,
Here, I don't know if you need to back up a little bit, or if this is...
No, we'll be all right. If they all stand back here by the hedges, we're okay.
Yeah, they might
Yeah.
fill
yeah.
out...
As long as they're behind the plaque, I think we're okay.
Okay, well, all right.
You're working on trying to get some of that video?
Yep, let me make sure I'll throw that one down. Yeah, that'll just...
They ran a couple-minute video in there, plus the picture will be, it's not on the website, I don't know.
Randy's coming out here.
Second team, the B team's coming.
He's swapped out. Swapped out.
Check. That's all right. Check. Sorry, Lindsay.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Just behind, have them go behind that. Okay. Just whatever. Just. Where do you want me to stand?
Right here. Start wrapping around.
Right.
Way to get out of your way.
The Kimbo Matambo.
That's why. That was like West Cleveland. I always wanted to visit him one day, but I didn't have a chance. So I'm finally
Come back and set it up for you.
yeah, my cousin, my first cousin, twin here in the 70s. And one of the top cardiovascular surgeons. And he went in and practiced for almost 40 something. He just retired a few years ago.
We just gonna lift this thing. So what you're seeing, again, is the front stone. The actual monument is going to sit behind it, and we'll do that in the fall. So, Mr. Beach, if you would.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
So we just gonna run and get some pictures. Yeah, we can get some pictures. Everybody, come in and get some pictures.
All right, thanks everybody. Great. Thank you.
So the media may want to talk to some of you.
Koby Altman.